The stars above Earth were quiet that night, but something was moving in the dark sky. A silver ship cut through the clouds like a whisper, smooth and silent, glowing with alien light. It landed in a hidden valley, far from cities, far from cameras. A hatch opened slowly and out stepped a tall, beautiful alien woman. Her name was Valira, and she was the Empire's most trusted weapon, a diplomat trained in the art of seduction. She wore a soft blue gown that shimmered like water. Her skin had a faint violet glow, her eyes golden like twin suns. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her dangerous. It was her mind. Valira's mission was clear: charm the human named Doctor. Adam Ross, earn his trust, get close, and extract the energy secrets Earth had developed. Her orders were strict: do not fall for him, do not get attached, and do not fail. The moment she stepped into the Earth government base, all eyes turned to her, people whispered, soldiers stared. Diplomat smiled nervously, but she only looked for one man, the human who held the knowledge the Empire feared. Adam Ross was a scientist, tall and quiet, always wearing the same worn-out jacket. He didn't care for politics, didn't smile much, and didn't like surprises. When Valira entered the lab, he didn't even stand up, so Adam said, typing something on his screen, "You're the alien everyone's talking about." Valira smiled gently. "You may call me Valira, I'm here to understand your world." Adam looked up, his eyes cold and sharp. "You're not here to understand. You're here to take." She tilted her head, keeping the smile, but inside, she noted the resistance. This man wouldn't be easy. Over the next few days, Valira followed the plan. She walked with him in gardens, asked about Earth music, pretended to be curious about everything. She laughed at his dry jokes, leaned closer when he talked, touched his arm at the right moments. But Adam didn't melt like others had. He kept distance, always polite, but always watching. He didn't flirt, didn't ask personal questions, and never complimented her appearance. One evening, they stood together on a balcony. Looking at the stars, Valira wore a human dress, soft and red, meant to distract. "Your stars are different," she said, voice soft like wind. Adam nodded. "Maybe. But they shine the same." She turned to face him, her golden eyes searching his face. "Do you trust me yet?" He looked at her, calm as ever. "No." Her smile faded for a moment. She had never met a human like him. Back on her ship, Valira reported to her handler. "The human is resisting," she said. "He's different." "Use your body," the handler said coldly through the comm. "He is a male, he will break." Valira ended the call and sat in silence. Something felt wrong. Her mission was simple. But now, her chest felt tight every time Adam looked at her with those unreadable eyes. The next day, she brought him a gift, a small alien crystal that sang softly when touched. "It reminds me of home," she said. "I wanted you to have it." Adam accepted it quietly. He didn't say thank you, just placed it carefully on his desk. "You're not like the others," he finally said. "You're trained. But sometimes you forget." Valira froze. "Forget what?" "That you're supposed to be lying." Silence filled the lab. That night, Valira stood alone in her ship's mirror. Staring at her reflection for the first time, she felt something she wasn't trained for. Not attraction, not lust, but confusion. The human wasn't falling for her, but she was starting to feel pulled toward him, not because of orders, but because of something else, something real. She didn't know it yet, but this was the moment her mission began to change. In the Empire, love was weakness. Pregnancy was control, and emotions were to be erased. But Earth was different, and so was this human. Valira didn't understand what was happening. But her next move would change everything, and someone far away in the Empire was already watching, waiting to punish her first mistake. Valira walked beside Adam in the quiet hallway of the Earth Science Complex. Her steps were graceful, her voice calm, but inside her mind, there was a storm. She had been on many missions, visited many planets, and fooled many powerful beings, but this time felt different. Adam was not like other humans she had studied in her training. He didn't look at her with hunger or fear. He didn't try to impress her, flatter her, or touch her. Instead, he treated her like a person. This confused her more than anything else. Today, she wore a soft gray suit like Earth scientists wore. Blending in, trying to match his world, they were headed to the lower lab, where Adam kept his private experiments. "I'm surprised," Valira said as they walked. "You haven't asked about my planet or our weapons. Most humans would." Adam glanced at her, then pushed open a heavy door. That's because I don't care about war. I care about energy, life, and peace inside the lab. It was quiet except for the hum of machines. Screens showed glowing models of atoms, solar flares, and complex energy flows. Valera stepped closer to a screen, watching the colors swirl. "This is beautiful," Adam nodded. "It's a new energy source, clean, powerful, and stable. The Empire wants it, don't they?" She looked at him, surprised he spoke so directly. "Why would you think that?" "Because they sent you," he said without emotion. "And you're not here for a friendship." Valera felt a cold wave pass through her chest. He knew maybe not everything, but enough. But then, instead of calling security or raising an alarm, he simply walked to a console and began typing. Valera stood frozen. "You're not afraid of me?" "No," he replied, eyes still on the screen. "You could have killed me 10 times by now if you wanted to. I'd already be dead." His words struck deeper than she expected. "Then why do you let me stay?" she asked, voice soft. Adam looked at her finally, his eyes tired but honest. "Because something tells me you're not the monster they trained you to be." Valera's breath caught in her throat. She had heard many things in her life, but never that. They worked side by side for hours. Valera watching closely as he explained his work. Sometimes he would speak fast, caught in the excitement, forgetting who he was talking to, and Valera. She stopped pretending. She started learning. She asked real questions, not the ones written in her mission file. She listened, not just to steal information, but to understand in those moments she wasn't Valera the diplomat. She was just a curious woman standing beside a brilliant human. Later that night, Adam made 2 cups of tea and handed her one. She sat across from him in the break room, their knees almost touching. "I studied Earth languages before I came," Valera said, staring into the steam. "But I didn't study human emotions. That was not part of my training." Adam gave a small smile. "That's because emotions can't be studied, they have to be felt." Valera looked up at him. "And what do you feel around me?" Adam was quiet for a moment. "Unsure, I don't trust easily. But I don't hate you either." Valera didn't respond. Instead, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small glowing orb. She placed it on the table. It was an alien memory crystal, normally used only among her kind. "This holds a piece of my childhood," she said. "You can see it if you wish." Adam hesitated, then placed his hand on it. A soft light filled the room, and suddenly he saw a small alien girl, Valera, running through a silver forest, laughing, chasing floating lights. Then came fire, ships above, soldiers taking her parents away. The laughter turned to screams, the memory ended, leaving the room cold and quiet. "I never showed that to anyone," Valera whispered. "I don't know why I did now." Adam didn't speak. He just stood and gently placed the orb back in her hand. From that day, something shifted. Valera no longer smiled just for show. She smiled when Adam made a joke, even if it was bad. Adam no longer avoided her gaze. He began to look at her longer, as if trying to understand what was behind those golden eyes. But neither of them said what they were truly feeling. Not yet. Back in her ship that night, Valera sat alone, staring at the stars from her window. She touched her chest and felt something unfamiliar, a heartbeat that wasn't just about survival. She wasn't sure what it meant, but one thing was clear. This mission was no longer just about energy or secrets. It was about something much more dangerous, something that could change both of their worlds forever. The wind outside the Earth lab howled softly that evening. The sky was dark, but Valera wasn't looking at the stars. She was staring into a mirror inside her private quarters on the ship. Her hand touched the side of her neck, pressing a hidden point. Click. A small blue light blinked under her skin and a sharp voice came through her ear. "You're falling behind, Valera," the voice said coldly. "You've been on Earth for 2 weeks. Where are the blueprints?" Valera closed her eyes for a moment. Her chest felt heavy. "Doctor, Adam Ross doesn't trust me. He's careful. Too smart. Then make him trust you," the voice snapped. "Use your tools, your face, your body, your charm. That's what we trained you for." There was silence on her end. "He's not like the others," she finally said, voice low. "Then break him in a way that works," the voice growled. "Or we'll send someone who will." The comm went dead. Valera sat on the edge of her bed, breathing slowly. She had used her beauty like a weapon before, many times. She had lied with a smile, and whispered sweet words into the ears of generals and kings. But this time something was holding her back, something that felt very human. The next morning, She entered the lab with steady steps, but inside she was shaking. Adam greeted her with a nod, nothing more. He was busy studying the glowing energy orb spinning inside a glass cube. It was Earth's new discovery, a stable fusion core that could power cities for centuries. And it was the very thing the Empire feared and wanted. Valera walked to his side, keeping her distance. "Did you sleep last night?" she asked. "Barely," Adam replied. "This core is behaving oddly, almost like it's responding to thoughts." "Thoughts?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah," he said, not looking at her. "It glows brighter when someone focuses on it with intention. It's like it has awareness." Valera watched the core pulse. Her mission returned to her mind, steal the energy secrets, but now she wondered, should this power even leave Earth? She leaned in, lowering her voice. "Adam, do you ever wonder if this tech is too dangerous?" He paused, looked at her. "Every day, that's why I protect it." Their eyes met. But this time there was something unspoken between them, a mix of trust and fear. Later, while Adam worked alone in the upper lab, Valera remained in the lower section, walking among the machines. She noticed a strand of her hair on a nearby desk. Caught on a metal edge, she reached to grab it but stopped. The screen nearby blinked to life. A secret video feed showed Adam analyzing the strand in a scanner. He was studying her DNA. Valera's heart raced. Did he know what she truly was? Her DNA wasn't natural. It had been altered by the Empire to include traits from 3 different species: beauty, intelligence, fertility control. She turned off the screen, sat down on a chair, and stared at the floor. Was he trying to expose her? Or was he just curious? That night she found him outside the lab, sitting near a small fire in the courtyard. He was sipping coffee and watching the night sky. She sat beside him without asking. "You scanned my hair," she said softly. Adam didn't flinch. "Yes, why?" "To understand," he said. "You're not like any alien we've met before. Your body reacts to Earth gravity. Your breath changes with mood. You blush. You laugh." Valera looked into the fire. "Is that a reason to mistrust me?" "No," Adam replied. "It's a reason to see you as more than a spy." She blinked slowly. "Then what do you see me as?" He thought for a moment. "Someone who's confused. Someone who's starting to care." Valera said nothing. The fire crackled, throwing soft orange light on their faces. "I wasn't supposed to care," she finally said. "I was supposed to steal your work. Make you fall for me, then vanish." Adam didn't move. Didn't even turn his head. "I figured," he said calmly. "You knew?" "I suspected." She let out a shaky breath. "Then why didn't you expose me?" He turned to look at her now. "Because you're still here." She looked away, embarrassed by something she couldn't explain. He reached into his pocket and handed her a small metal cube. "What's this?" she asked. "A recording of your memory crystal," he said. "I made a copy. I saw your forest, your parents. Your pain." Valera's hands trembled as she took the cube. "No one's ever seen my past and still stayed beside me," she whispered. "I'm not everyone," Adam replied, and just like that, the line between mission and emotion blurred even more. Valera didn't know it yet, but the pressure she felt wasn't just from the Empire. It was coming from her own heart. Something was changing. Quietly but deeply, and back in orbit, a shadow moved across the stars. An incoming ship with orders to finish what she couldn't. Valera woke in the soft light of morning. Her eyes blinked slowly, adjusting to the soft warmth touching her skin. She wasn't in her ship. She wasn't in a cold Empire facility. She was in Adam's home, a small, quiet cottage near the mountains, built with stone and wood, filled with simple things: books, coffee mugs, old jackets, and silence. She looked down. Her hands trembled slightly. Her body felt wrong, but also peaceful. The night before had started with tension, but ended with something neither of them planned. It had begun with words, Valera opening up about her fears, Adam speaking softly about the pressure he carried. Then a touch, then a kiss, then everything changed now. She sat at the edge of the bed wearing one of his shirts, and feeling more lost than ever. This was not part of her mission. Her body was designed to resist human biology, enhanced to be immune to cross-species reactions, but something had failed, or maybe something had awakened. She stood up slowly and looked at the small mirror on the wall. Her skin was paler, her glow was dimmer. She placed a hand over her belly and closed her eyes. Her ship's med scanner had already confirmed it. She was pregnant. Valera nearly collapsed from the shock. Her knees weak, her heart pounding. This wasn't possible, not just physically, but politically, culturally, it was forbidden in the Empire. Pregnancies were planned, arranged, controlled. A child born from a human and an alien diplomat would be seen as a betrayal. An abomination. The communicator buzzed in her ear. She pressed the side of her neck but didn't speak. "Valira," came the cold voice of her handler. "Your vital signs are irregular. What happened last night?" She stayed silent, Valira responded. She turned off the device with a hard press. She couldn't tell them, not yet. Suddenly, she heard soft footsteps. Adam entered the room with 2 mugs in his hands. "Morning," he said gently, setting one mug on the table beside her. "You okay?" She looked at him, eyes wide, unsure how to speak the truth. I need to show you something," she whispered. They went to her ship, inside the medical bay. She activated the projection screen. A scan appeared, glowing softly in the air. Adam stared at it, confused at first. Then his face changed. "That's... yes?" she said, voice shaking. "It's ours." Adam stepped back. He ran a hand through his hair, breathing heavily. "But you said this couldn't happen." "I believe that too," Valira said. "My body is not supposed to accept human genetics." "But it did," Adam whispered. She nodded slowly. "I don't understand how, but now it's real." He turned to her, his voice quiet but firm. "Do they know?" She shook her head. "Not yet. But if they find out, they'll take me back, experiment on me, or worse." Adam clenched his jaw. "Then we don't let them find out." She looked up at him, hope flickering behind her golden eyes. "You'd protect me? After everything?" "I saw who you are," he said. "Not the version they sent, but the one you tried to hide. The real you." Her eyes filled with tears, something she thought her kind had evolved beyond. They stood in silence, the scan still glowing between them. But above Earth, another ship was arriving, silent, cold and deadly. Inside it stood a tall alien male, dressed in black armor. His name was Kareth, Valira's old partner and now her hunter. He stared at her file, scanned her recent data, and narrowed his eyes. "She broke protocol," he growled. "She got too close." The ship prepared to descend. Back on Earth, Valira and Adam sat near the fire again. Outside his cottage, her hand rested over her belly, his hand gently covering hers. "What will we do?" she asked. "We hide," Adam said. "We protect the child. And we figure out what they fear so much about us." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I wasn't supposed to feel anything," she whispered. "But now I feel everything." In that moment, under the stars, they were no longer diplomat and scientist. They were 2 souls bound by something bigger than a mission. But peace was already slipping away high above. The hunter ship locked onto their coordinates, and war was about to begin, not between worlds, but between loyalty and love. The skies above Earth cracked open with silent thunder, hidden to the human eye. A sleek black ship pierced through the clouds, invisible to radar, its surface absorbing light like a shadow that had come alive. Inside that ship stood Kareth, a cold figure with silver eyes and a mind trained for only one thing: obedience. He wasn't like Valira. He didn't ask questions. He didn't feel. He simply followed orders. "Target is confirmed," said the AI voice inside the ship. "Valira has gone silent. Her vitals show emotional instability and unauthorized genetic alteration." Kareth's eyes narrowed. "She's compromised." He activated a glowing weapon on his arm and whispered, "She was always too soft." Back on Earth, Valira stood in Adam's lab, her fingers shaking as she ran them across the scanner's screen. Her baby's heartbeat echoed softly in the air, a delicate rhythm that didn't match any species exactly. It was new. "Do you think they'll try to take it?" she asked quietly. Adam nodded. "Yes, and they won't stop at threats." He pulled open a secret drawer in his desk. Inside was a hidden case, a device Earth's Defense Committee had forbidden him to use. "Is that a weapon?" she asked. "No," he said. "It's a jammer. If they try to track your body through your neural signature, this will block it. Temporarily." She looked at him with disbelief. "You've had this all along?" "I designed it in case you turned on us," he admitted, "but now I'm using it to protect you." Valira felt a strange mix of emotions, trust and guilt battling inside her heart. She reached out and touched his hand. "Thank you, Adam." He squeezed her fingers. "We'll get through this," but outside danger was already near. Kareth's ship landed silently on the edge of a remote forest. His boots touched the ground without a sound, and his tracker lit up. Valera's signal was faint, but there he didn't need an army. He only needed her weakness as night fell. Adam and Valera retreated to the mountains, where signal interference would protect them longer. Adam's drone scouts hovered overhead. Scanning for movement, they lit a small fire inside a cave. The warmth dancing over their tired faces, Valera leaned against him, exhausted. "I thought I was strong," she said, "but I feel afraid now." "You're strong because you care," Adam whispered. "You chose love over duty. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen." Suddenly, a sharp beep sounded from the drone monitor. "Something's coming," Adam said. Standing up quickly, he grabbed the jammer. Placing it on Valera's back, she tried to speak, but a sound from outside silenced both of them. A heavy footstep, a quiet hiss of air. Then a voice, cold and sharp like a blade, echoed through the cave entrance. "Valera," Kareth said. "Step out, I won't ask again." Valera stood slowly. Adam tried to stop her, but she shook her head. "If I don't go out there, he'll burn the forest down to find us," she said. "I have to face him." "No," Adam said. "You're not alone anymore." Together they stepped into the moonlight, where Kareth stood like a shadow among the trees. He looked at Valera with cold disappointment. "You were our finest creation, and now you carry filth." "She is not your tool anymore," Adam said, stepping forward. Kareth raised his arm, a weapon glowing bright. "Human, you do not understand what she's done. This child is a threat to the order of the galaxy." Valera stepped between them. "Then the galaxy's order needs to fall." Kareth hesitated for just a second. That second was enough. Adam threw a pulse grenade, hitting Kareth's chest. The explosion didn't kill, but it knocked him back and disabled his tracking system. Valera ran forward, using her strength to grab Kareth's weapon and crush it in her hands. "You trained me," she said. "But you never taught me what it means to feel." Kareth looked up at her, not angry but empty. "This is treason," he said. "You'll be hunted until the stars go dark." Valera helped Adam back into the cave. "Breathing hard, we need to leave Earth," she said. Now Adam looked at her, surprised. "Where would we go?" "Somewhere no one follows," she said. "Where we can raise this child without war." He nodded slowly. "Then let's vanish." Together, they took what they needed, scans, supplies, encrypted files, and boarded her silver ship hidden in the cliffs. As they lifted into the night sky, Valera looked down one last time at the blue planet. It had changed her, saved her, and given her something no mission ever had, a future. But behind them, Kareth activated a distress signal, and across the stars the Empire began preparing for a silent war. Not of bombs or fleets, but of bloodlines. A cold silence filled the command deck of Valera's starship as it hovered in low orbit above Earth. Inside, Valera's hands moved across the glowing console. Locking their destination, she had chosen a remote system, a hidden world known only to ancient star maps, a place no Empire ship would dare to enter, a neutral zone. Abandoned after a failed colonization attempt, Adam stood behind her, scanning the readouts on the screen. He was calm on the outside, but inside he was tense. Their fuel levels were low, the cloaking shield unstable, and a hunter ship still roamed nearby. The baby inside Valera's womb was growing fast, far faster than any human child. Alien genetics were unpredictable, and it was clear now time was not on their side. Suddenly, warning alarms blared through the ship. "Cloak disrupted," the computer voice said. "External lock detected." Valera's eyes widened. "They found us," she whispered. Adam rushed to the manual override, trying to block the signal, but it was too late. A pulse wave shot through their ship, frying systems one by one. Lights blinked, the engine screamed, and then everything went black. Valera fell forward, gasping, her body frozen in shock. Adam caught her just in time before she hit the floor. "Valera," he whispered, shaking her gently. "Stay with me." Her skin glowed faintly, flickering like a dying star. "The baby," she whispered weakly. "Something's wrong." Before Adam could respond, the ship shook violently, and the walls split open with a hiss. Dozens of Empire soldiers in black armor stormed in. Led by Kareth, his face was cold, eyes sharper than steel. Adam stood in front of Valera, arms wide. "Don't touch her," he said. Voice shaking but firm, Kareth ignored him. "Secure the traitor," he ordered. "Prepare the stasis chamber." Valera tried to stand but collapsed again. She had no strength left. One soldier moved to grab her. Adam struck first. With a hidden charge weapon from his belt, He blasted the soldier back against the wall. Another lunged, and Adam threw a blade straight into the soldier's shoulder. But there were too many. Kareth backhanded Adam, sending him crashing into a wall. Blood ran from his mouth, but he refused to stay down. "Why are you doing this?" Adam growled. "She hasn't hurt anyone." Kareth looked down at him. "She carries the future," he said, "and the Empire controls all futures." Valera was lifted into a cryo chamber, sealed tight, her glow dimming more with each second. The Empire ship rose from the atmosphere and entered hyperdrive. Leaving Earth behind, Adam woke hours later in a secure med bay. Battered but alive, he was back on Earth, being questioned by Earth's Defense Council. But he said nothing, only one thing repeated in his mind. She's gone, but he wasn't broken. Adam Ross had learned more than alien tech. He had learned to outsmart the Empire. 3 weeks passed, then on a silent night, Earth's secret defense station received a signal, a ghost frequency from deep space, coded in a pattern only Adam would recognize. It was Valera's heartbeat, weak. But alive, Adam didn't wait for approval. He packed a stealth pod, uploaded the last known coordinates, and launched into space. He knew it was suicide, but he didn't care. His ship was small, fast, and invisible to most scanners. He reached the Empire's science prison, a dark moon covered in metal and silence. No guards, no movement, but Adam knew better. Inside, deep in the labs, Valera floated inside a stasis tank. Surrounded by cold machines, her body was wired to monitors, and strange machines studied her baby. They hadn't harmed the child, but they were preparing to clone it. Adam slipped through the vents, disabled security cameras one by one. He wore an exosuit covered in signal-canceling fibers, his own design. He reached the lab, silently dropped from the ceiling, and moved like a shadow. Then one of the machines beeped an alarm. "Intruder," red lights flashed, and the doors slammed shut. Kareth appeared again, stepping from the shadows. "You never give up, do you, human?" Adam said nothing. He aimed a high-frequency pulse cannon and fired straight at the control system. The stasis tank hissed and cracked open, releasing a freezing mist. Valera fell into Adam's arms, barely breathing. Her golden eyes fluttered open. "You came?" she whispered. "Always," he said, holding her close. They ran together down the corridor. Adam fought back soldiers using flash grenades and traps planted earlier. Valera, though weak, used her strength to knock down the heavy doors. Finally, they reached the launch bay. One small ship remained, half broken, but it worked. They blasted off just as more soldiers arrived. As they escaped into hyperspace, Adam wrapped her in a blanket. "You're safe now," he said. Valera looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I don't deserve this." "I failed my mission." Adam held her tighter. "You didn't fail," he said. "You chose love, and now you saved a life." The ship drifted toward a new future, away from war. But behind them, the Empire burned with rage. And ahead was a baby who might change the stars. A soft blue mist covered the surface of the hidden world. It was silent, untouched, and rich with strange glowing trees and deep crystal lakes. This was Ilaris 9, a long-forgotten planet once rejected by both the Empire and humans. Now, it had become a secret sanctuary. Valera stepped out of the small ship slowly, her hands resting on her round belly. She was weak, but her skin had regained its light, soft golden and warm again. Behind her, Adam carried a scanner in one hand and a survival pack in the other. "This planet is stable," he said, glancing at the readings. "Air's breathable, gravity's fine, and no life signs nearby, just us." Valera looked around in wonder. "It feels like a dream," he smiled gently. "No more running, no more Empire. Just peace." They built a small shelter near the lake, using tech from the ship and materials from the forest. Each day, Adam reinforced their signal shields, and Valera prepared for the baby's arrival. The pregnancy was different than any doctor had ever studied. The child's heartbeat was stronger than any human's, but its energy signature was unstable, a perfect blend of both worlds. Some nights, Valera would sit beside the lake and talk to the baby inside her. "You are not a weapon," she would whisper. "You are a beginning." Adam watched her from afar, his heart full of something he had never expected. Family. Weeks passed, and one day Valera suddenly screamed. Adam rushed into the shelter, eyes wide. "It's happening," she cried, holding her stomach, her body glowing like fire and light. He helped her lie down, guided by instinct and pure hope. Outside, the wind howled, the sky lit with strange colors, as if the planet itself was watching. Hours passed in pain and fear, until finally, a cry echoed through the trees, not loud, not shrill, but strong. A baby, small but radiant, opened its eyes for the first time. Its skin shimmered with both human warmth and alien light. Tiny fingers reached out and Valera wept. Adam held the child close to her, whispering, "You did it." Valera kissed the baby's forehead. "We did it." They named her Ileana, meaning light from 2 stars. As days turned to weeks, they built a life. Adam grew food using earth crops. Valera taught Ileana through sound-touch learning used by her species. Their daughter grew fast, walking by 4 months, speaking 2 languages by 6. But she was more than intelligent. She had abilities. She could move small objects with her mind. She could glow in the dark, and sometimes, when she touched the ground, flowers bloomed where she stepped. One night, Adam sat on the roof of their shelter. Staring at the stars, Valera joined him, wrapping a blanket around them both. "She's not just a child," he said. "She's a message," Valera nodded. "A message that love can rewrite destiny." But they both knew, somewhere in the galaxy, others would come looking, not for them, but for her. So Adam began building a beacon, not to reveal their location, but to send a warning. Across encrypted channels used by the Empire, the message was sent: "The child lives. She is safe. If you come, we will defend her, but if you listen, maybe she can save you too." The message echoed in silence. A month later, an old freighter landed nearby, unmarked. Peaceful inside were 3 aliens, one old, one young, and one with scars across his face. They knelt before Valera and said, "We defected after your trial. We saw what the Empire did, and we want something new." Adam looked at Valera, who simply nodded. They became part of the small family, and more followed: scientists, ex-soldiers, even a former Imperial admiral who had lost his son in the last war. Ileana grew among them, smiling, curious, glowing brighter each year. At age 5, she built her first energy cell, cleaner than anything on Earth. At age 6, she cured a poisonous plant with her hands. At age 7, she looked up at her parents and said, "I want to visit the stars." Adam laughed. One day, Valera kissed her daughter's hair, but never alone. And so began the rise of a quiet force, not an army, but a movement led not by war, but by a girl born of 2 enemies who chose peace. Across the stars, whispers spread. The child of Earth and Empire lives, and she is not what they feared. She is what they hoped for. Back on Alaris 9, Adam and Valera stood hand in hand, watching Ileana run through the glowing fields. "This wasn't our mission," Valera said softly. Adam smiled. "No," he replied. "It's our legacy." And above them, the stars finally felt silent. Not from war, but from peace, a peace born from love. A peace born from one mistake that changed everything.